Have you ever felt like someone was playing with your emotions, but in a way that was hard to prove? It's not always obvious when people manipulate your feelings, but trust me, there are silent signs. Today I'm going to show you 5 telltale signs that they're playing with your heart, silently. Before we dive into the signs, let's take a moment to reflect on a painful truth. Sometimes people don't just treat our emotions carelessly, they actively play with them. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and often, it's silent. You might find yourself questioning whether you're overreacting or being too sensitive, but deep down, you feel it. Something isn't quite right. You may even feel confused, hurt, or stuck in a cycle of emotional ups and downs. But this isn't all in your head. It's a real dynamic that happens when someone manipulates your feelings without you even realizing it. The worst part is, they do it in ways that seem innocent at first, but over time, they begin to erode your emotional well-being. 1. They keep you in the dark, never letting you know where you stand. One of the most telling signs that someone is playing with your feelings silently is that they always keep you guessing. You're left unsure about where you stand with them, which is not only emotionally draining but also incredibly confusing. One moment they might be affectionate, caring, and present. They're texting you, making you feel like a priority and showering you with attention. The next moment, they pull back, disappearing for days, acting distant and leaving you wondering if you've done something wrong. This pattern can leave you in a constant state of emotional limbo. They might send mixed signals. They might tell you they're just busy. Or they might say things like, "I need some space," or "I'll reach out when I can." While those words may seem innocuous, the underlying message is that they're not clear about their intentions, and worse, they don't care enough to be upfront with you. The real danger lies in this cycle. You'll constantly be wondering if they're really into you, or if you're just an afterthought. Over time, this creates a void that makes it hard for you to feel stable or secure in the relationship. What makes this silent manipulation so dangerous is the emotional toll it takes. You'll begin to doubt your worth, wondering why you're not being prioritized or why you're the one doing all the emotional labor. You'll end up seeking reassurance from them, asking yourself if they really like you, only to receive inconsistent responses that keep you trapped in this emotional haze. This type of behavior is never about you. It's about them. People who play with your feelings in this way are usually doing so because they want to maintain control. They don't want to fully commit, but they also don't want to let you go. So they leave you hanging in the middle, where you're forced to wait for them to decide if they're interested or not. They want to keep you on the hook so they can come back to you whenever it suits them. They feed off the emotional uncertainty they create. It's not healthy, and it's certainly not fair to you. When someone is genuinely interested in you, they'll communicate openly and directly. There's no need for guesswork. They'll make it clear where they stand, and they'll prioritize consistency in their words and actions. But if you're constantly left in the dark, never knowing where you stand, it's a clear sign that they might be playing with your feelings. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward freeing yourself from it. Once you understand that this behavior isn't about you, you'll realize you deserve more than someone who refuses to give you clarity. It's important to take a step back, acknowledge the emotional toll it's taking, and reclaim your sense of worth. Stop chasing after answers that never come, and start focusing on building your own emotional strength and independence. You deserve someone who's upfront with you and values your feelings. 2. They love the emotional roller coaster, constant highs and lows. Have you ever felt like your emotional state was on a never-ending roller coaster ride with someone? 1 minute, everything is amazing. Affection, attention, connection, laughter, and closeness. You feel like you're living in a bubble of happiness, completely secure and loved. But then, without warning, that bubble bursts. The next moment, you're left feeling confused, unimportant, or even hurt. They might withdraw, ignore you, or act distant, leaving you with an aching sense of insecurity. This cycle is not a healthy relationship dynamic. It's a form of emotional manipulation. The emotional roller coaster isn't just a phase. It's a tool they use to control how you feel. When you're feeling up, you may think everything is fine, that they love you deeply, that this is real. But when the lows hit, they can make you question everything. The emotional lows can feel like a sudden crash, shaking your confidence and making you question if you did something wrong. You might find yourself chasing their approval, desperately trying to get back to the moments when they were affectionate and caring, hoping that the good times will return. This emotional instability isn't by accident. It's orchestrated. They know exactly what they're doing. They might pull away just enough to create doubt and insecurity, only to reel you back in with love and attention when they sense you pulling away or losing interest. This unpredictable pattern keeps you emotionally invested, and that's exactly what they want. You're constantly caught between the fear of losing them and the need to feel their affection again, making it harder to leave or set boundaries. What you're experiencing is not love. It's emotional manipulation designed to keep you hooked in a cycle of emotional highs and lows. Healthy relationships are built on consistency, trust, and emotional safety. But when someone is playing with your feelings, the only certainty you have is unpredictability. You start questioning yourself. Did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? You begin to overanalyze every interaction, hoping for clarity, only to get more confusion in return. This emotional roller coaster creates a toxic dependency. You might find yourself thinking, if I just behave a certain way, maybe they'll treat me well again. This becomes a never-ending cycle of trying to win back their affection, often at the expense of your own self-worth. You might ignore red flags or make excuses for their behavior because the highs, when they come, feel so good. But here's the truth. That emotional pendulum isn't love. It's manipulation. Healthy relationships don't require you to keep guessing, to constantly chase affection, or to tiptoe around someone's moods. The reality is, you deserve consistency, peace, and emotional stability. If someone truly cares about you, they won't make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly waiting for the next emotional shift. They won't demand that you endure their emotional instability in exchange for moments of affection. If you find yourself in this emotional roller coaster, it's time to stop chasing the highs and start focusing on your own emotional well-being. True love and care come from mutual respect, understanding, and stability. A partner who values you won't subject you to these emotional games. They'll be steady, reliable, and clear about their intentions. 3. They only reach out when it's convenient for them. If you've ever felt like you were just an option in someone else's life rather than a priority, this is one of the biggest silent signs that your feelings are being played with. People who are manipulating your emotions will only reach out to you when it's convenient for them. And usually, this is when they need something from you, whether that's attention, validation, or comfort. You may notice that they only contact you when they're bored, lonely, or in need of something. But when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. This behavior is not accidental. They want to control the timing of the connection to avoid giving too much of themselves away. When they reach out only on their terms, it leaves you feeling like you're constantly at their mercy. You start to wonder why they can't make time for you when you need it most. Maybe they say they're too busy, or caught up with work, or just not in the mood. But the reality is, they're not prioritizing you because they don't have to. They know you'll still be there when they reach out, and that's exactly what they want. They want to keep you in a position where they have the upper hand. They don't offer consistent attention, support, or presence because, in their mind, you're not a priority. Instead, you're someone to turn to when they need a distraction or emotional comfort. This is the type of silent manipulation that makes you feel disposable and unimportant, even though they may never explicitly say it. You might feel like you're on standby, just waiting for them to need you. And each time they do, it creates a temporary emotional high. But soon after, you're left feeling drained, confused, and undervalued. Because once their needs are met, they pull away again. If someone truly cares about you, they won't treat your feelings like an afterthought. They'll make time for you, even if it's just to listen, share a moment, or show that they care. When your emotional needs are consistently ignored or brushed aside, that's a red flag that they're not emotionally invested in you. They're only playing on your emotions when it suits them. 4. They avoid deep conversations, keeping things surface level. One of the clearest signs that someone is playing with your feelings silently is their consistent avoidance of deep, meaningful conversations. When someone truly cares about you, they want to know the real you, the struggles, the dreams, the fears, the hopes. They are invested in understanding who you are beneath the surface. But when someone is manipulating your emotions, they will intentionally keep things shallow, never willing to dive into meaningful discussions about your relationship or your emotions. At first, this can seem innocent enough. Maybe they're just a little guarded, or they're not big on talking about their feelings. But over time, this pattern becomes undeniable. You might try to initiate conversations about the future, about where you both stand, or about your feelings, but they'll consistently steer the conversation away. They might make excuses about being too tired or not in the mood to have a serious discussion. They could even laugh off your attempts to open up, deflecting the topic with humor or lightheartedness. This avoidance isn't random. It's a way to keep you emotionally invested without ever really engaging with you on a deep level. They don't want to talk about the real issues because doing so would expose the emptiness or insincerity of the connection. If they acknowledge your concerns or your feelings, it forces them to confront the reality that they might not be as committed as you think. So they keep the conversation light, superficial, and on their terms, making sure you never get the emotional depth you deserve. When someone consistently avoids conversations that are meaningful to you, it's a sign that they're not interested in nurturing the relationship. They may care about the surface level connection, the good times, the laughs, the fun moments, but they aren't willing to do the work that comes with deep emotional intimacy. Emotional manipulation thrives in this space, as it keeps you craving something they're unwilling to offer: real, vulnerable connection. This lack of engagement can slowly erode your emotional well-being, making you feel like your needs are never truly understood or validated. If they are always dodging real conversations, asking yourself why they refuse to engage in a meaningful way is essential. The answer may be that they don't care to invest in a genuine connection with you because they're more concerned with keeping you on the emotional hook, without giving you the depth you crave. 5. They show little to no effort to make things right. The final sign that someone is playing with your feelings silently is their complete lack of effort to make things right when problems arise. In any healthy relationship, misunderstandings and disagreements are inevitable. But when someone genuinely cares, they will put in the effort to resolve conflicts, address misunderstandings, and improve the relationship. However, if they're emotionally manipulating you, they will show little to no effort to fix things when issues arise. Instead of apologizing or trying to make amends when things go wrong, they may dismiss your concerns, ignore your feelings, or blame you for the issue entirely. They may even act like nothing happened at all, hoping that the problem will simply go away on its own. This lack of accountability is a silent but powerful form of emotional manipulation. They don't care enough to resolve the issue, and they rely on your emotional attachment to just let it slide. The longer this pattern continues, the more you end up accepting emotional neglect and frustration as a normal part of your relationship. This behavior also leads to a growing imbalance. You may find yourself apologizing for things you never should have had to apologize for, or giving more than they ever give in return. You might feel like you're constantly making up for things, but they're never doing the same for you. This dynamic is draining, and it's not healthy. If someone really values you, they will acknowledge when they've hurt you and take the necessary steps to make things better. But if they're only playing with your feelings, they'll leave things unresolved and expect you to just accept it. At the end of the day, Relationships are built on mutual respect, communication, and effort. When one person consistently fails to take responsibility or put in the effort to fix problems, it's a clear sign that they're not emotionally invested in making things work. They're just playing games with your emotions. If this video resonated with you and helped you identify the signs of emotional manipulation, I want to hear from you. Don't let anyone play with your feelings in silence. You deserve honesty, respect, and love. If you found value in today's content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more empowering videos like this.